Hello YouTube, welcome to Super Lorcana World. It's your one-stop shop for everything Lorcana. And we are back on our Mondays revealing all the new cards that were announced the previous week and discussing them. Only 2 cards, so we have not much to talk about, but some of these cards, as in one of these cards, is very, very deep. And one of these cards is not very deep. I wonder if you can guess which one is which. Please comment, let me know which one of these cards is your favorite, and of course like and subscribe, I would very much appreciate that. So we are going to start with the least exciting card in my opinion, Merlin. The Rabbit. Interesting how we have Merlin the Wizard and we have Merlin the Rabbit now. I wonder if there is some intentional synergy there or something. Anyway, 4-drop uninkable, 2/3 that quests for 1. When you play this character only leaves play, you may draw a card. I think before we discuss this card any more, let's just take another quick look at the other Merlin, because this matters for today's video. It really does. Where is Merlin? Here's Merlin. Merlin, the shapeshifter, has a Battle of Wits. Whenever one of your other characters returns to the hand from play, it gets +1 lower this turn. Okay. So, like, theoretically, if you have this Merlin on board, and you have this Merlin on board, you will have something else on board that can return him to your hand, and then you get to draw another card, and then you get to get your +1 lore on your other Merlin. Not to mention, when you play this card again, it's going to get you another card. So I think in the Merlin toolbox deck, whatever that ends up becoming, this card will see play. I think besides that, it's just going to be hit or miss if you want to play it or not. Maybe it's attack or whatever. This card can draw you cards, absolutely. Play this character, draw a card. When leaves play, draw a card. Very good in draft. But its stats are a little lackluster. It's a 2/3. Like 2-drop Simba is a 2/3. You know what I mean? So 2/3 isn't anything to write home about. And uninkable, never a great thing. I think this character is just more meant to be a synergistic, keep bouncing it to your hand with something that I'm sure we'll see in the future. So you're always drawing 2 cards because he's always entering play and always leaving play. So to give you a constant draw engine to Merlin. So Merlin decks, I think it's going to be good. In other decks, kind of hit or miss. We'll see what the future says though. Now this card excites me a lot. This is Madam Mim. This is a 3-drop inkable. Inkable 4/3 with Rush. It also has an ability called Chasing the Rabbit. When you play this character, banish her or return another chosen character of yours to your hand. Now, I need to explain to you guys what power creep is. Power creep exists so that people buy the cards. You see, if there were no cards in the second set that were better than the cards in the first set, no one would really have incentive to buy the second set in terms of competitive viability. However, if you remember Rafiki, you guys know what Rafiki is, right? A 3-cost, uninkable, 3/3 that has Rush. This card is just better. Now some of you might say, well, Mario, isn't a drawback? You gotta return something to your hand, your banisher, your what? Isn't that worse? Is it worse? I'm here to tell you it's not worse. It's actually really, really cool. First of all, this is a Merlin payoff, which is why we're seeing it with the Merlin card revealed here. That's one obvious thing, but it goes so much deeper than Merlin. Is that appropriate? Merlin, Madam Mim here, it can return damaged things to your hand. It can return things to your hand with on-play abilities, like the 3-drop Maleficent, or the 4-drop Merlin Rabbit thing. Or like anything else with a cool on-play. You know what I mean? It can return shift characters to your hand, and then you get both pieces back to your hand. Madam Mim, it's a card. It is something else. Maybe there's something on the board that's a liability to you now that you don't want on the board. If that ever happens, Madam Mim can bounce it back to your hand. Isn't that interesting? To me, obviously, Merlin payoff. Okay, great. But, you know, Ruby Amethyst is a deck of all time. It's the best deck in the format right now. And Madam Mim she looks like she fits right in. I'm gonna be real with you. You can rebounce your big Elsas, your big Maleficents, your Ursulas, and whatever else. You can bounce that stuff to your hand and replay it and get that value all over again. You know what I mean? You can also cycle Madam Mims if you really want to do that. You can just keep bouncing them back to hand and rush and go back and forth and whatever else. Yeah, you could do that too if you wanted to. But yeah, this seems like a really good toolbox card to return your damage things or combo pieces or your enter the battlefield triggers or just your cards that you want to keep around for a little while longer. This card's great. This card's actually really good. And there's so many applications. I could make a how good is this card video on this card, but it's basically any shift character, any enter the battlefield character, or anything with damage counters on it. Like, that's a lot of cards. And and damage counters could be on anything. So like the video could be, an hour long. So I'm not gonna do that for this card. But this card is crazy. It's actually good. It's power creeping Rafiki. And it'll give people interesting thoughts. Do they want to play more aggro Ruby Amethyst with like multiple Rafikis and multiple Mana Mims? Or just replace Rafiki altogether now? It's definitely a thought process for sure. So, this card's good. This card is a good card. It will obviously play in whatever Merlin deck ends up being, but it will also see plays in other decks as well. Ruby Amethyst, I'm sure. Steel Amethyst, I'm sure. Sapphire Amethyst, I'm sure. Like, this card is just that good. You could splash into anything, and it could see success. That's it, though. I don't really have anything else to say about these two cards. It's obvious that they're trying to make Merlin, a deck. We now have, Merlin, the Shapeshifter, and we have the Spellbook, by the way, which, gain 1 lore. I guess that could matter. It's too bad this card doesn't, bounce items. Oh, man. Anyway, then you got your 2 cards that were revealed here. And that's really it so far in the second set, but we are far from over when it comes to reveal season on the set. It is what it is. And Merlin's okay, but Madam Mim, this card is something else. This is a way better Rafiki, and this card, again, you need hard removal because Madam Mim can bounce your damage stuff. If you can't... imagine trying to, brute force your way through a resist character like Cinderella, and then, oh, wow, it's almost dead. God, just better bounce it back to my hand and play it all over again. Come on. Come on. This card has so many applications that it's actually insane. This card is going to see play. It's going to be a meta staple. Anyway... Yep, alright, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you later. Goodbye!